Hello, this is Francine Juhlin, the founder of Parents Talk and the Confidence Club for Kids. We're here giving parents tips and tricks for raising confident kids today so we don't have to fix broken adults tomorrow. And today I have with me a very special guest because today, he's going to talk about the men in your life and the young boys in your life and how we could protect them from addiction and how we could help them overcome addiction if that's the path they're on right now. Mykal Olson is the author of the book, The Life Forge. Mykal, will you introduce yourself to the listeners, please?
Oh, sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Mykal Olson. I am the owner of a company called The Life Forge. As was mentioned, I wrote a book called Life Forge, and that book is really about my personal journey of dealing with addiction, suffering horrible consequences from it, but more importantly, the process to overcome those addictions and create a better life afterwards.
Can you tell us some of your story that helped you or made you want to develop this process?
The main part of the story is that my addictions not only destroyed my family, but landed me in prison. And when I'm sitting in prison wondering what the heck I'm going to do, I came up with the idea that I need to help other young men conquer those addictions and save their families so they don't suffer the same fate that I had. But I one of the things I came up with is when you're dealing with addictions, you have really ground your life into the dirt. And what I came up with is a process to create a new person, a new self, in order to be able to grow and recover from those addictions.
Listeners, if you've been watching Parents Talk for a while, you probably know that I suffer from addictions, uh, food, wine, drinking, and many other bad habits. It's nothing to be ashamed of if we don't have the tools to comfort ourselves, our brains search for ways to be comforted, which leads us on the path to bad habits. So, Mykal, I'd like to ask you, can you tell us maybe a little bit about your process? And is there a discovery part of the process where you discover the root cause of what's causing your addiction?
Yes, and this goes to parents helping to prevent addictions from happening. Because the main point is addiction isn't about a substance or a behavior, it's a symptom. And it's a symptom because there is something inside, scars or troubles or trauma or whatever inside that has not been dealt with. And addictions are used to cope with those unresolved effects that are happening in our lives. So anything that you can do with your children before it becomes a problem that they have to cope with, make sure you get to that right away so that they don't have those scars that they have to try and medicate through some kind of substance or behavior that makes them think about something other than the pain that they have inside.
And the tool that I found that worked for me the best was meditation. It helped me really clear my mind and dig down to what my root cause, what caused me to want to comfort myself. And that's why my first children's book is an introduction to meditation for children,
Yeah.
because I think, and actually my readers have told me that when the children could calm their mind, that they're not susceptible to peer pressure as much because that peer pressure is a result of them wanting to be like everybody else. When they calm their minds and go deep inside with that self reflection that we talk about in the Magic Library book, then they feel self confident in their own skin and they feel self assured where they don't feel that need to go with the crowd and become the next best thing instead of who they really are.
Yes. And identity is everything. They have to create a strong self identity so that they don't try to follow somebody else's identity and get into doing things that really do not fulfill them. And one of the things that I really do with my process is go deep into a person, discover what their identity is, and help them grow with that. Become the ideal person that they want to be because you can create that.
I know you can because I did. My identity, I was in an identity crisis when I retired from my job as an aircraft electrician for the military. That's all I knew my whole adult life. And then I had to recreate myself. And then I thought back, I wasn't always an aircraft electrician. I created that identity when I joined the Navy.
Yeah.
So I think what we're trying to say here is that parents, you could help your kids create an identity that makes them resilient. So when life happens and changes come across their being, that they have the tools they need to accept those changes and move forward, creating their new self.
Yes. But even with your adult children, you can talk to them and try to bring out that identity that maybe they've forgotten. Because one of the problems with addiction is it slowly over time narrows the focus of what they can cope with, and how they cope with it becomes really, really narrow, and they forget everything else because all they can see is that one thing that can help them. So we need to get them to be able to open up that well of capability that's within themselves.
I remember when I was using wine to comfort myself. And I'd come home and I'd drink a glass of wine and another. And then I got to the point where my liver was failing.
Hmm.
And but but I can't quit. I like it so much. What will I do? That's all I have to look forward to. I had to change that mindset
Yes.
and find new ways to comfort myself. And the best option for parents is to teach their children how to comfort themselves without food, without chemicals, and without medication.
Hmm.
So, Mykal, I heard you say that you have a free report that people need to get a hold of so they can help these men in their lives. You want to talk about that a little bit, please?
Sure. On my website, right below the intro page, you can find a place where you can get a free report that is where I talk to young men about what they need to do once they've started the process of recovery, because there are pitfalls that they can take that will uh, land them right back into the process of destroying themselves like they were doing before. They need to do certain things in order to be able to negotiate the recovery process. And I identify a number of those things for them so that they can see where they should start and what to avoid. And I offer that free report so that what they can do is, even if you're not a young man needing to go online and get it, but if you're a parent of somebody, if you're the wife of somebody, If you're a friend of somebody who needs to have that, this is a little report that you can give to them to give them the idea, hey, there's something that I can do. Because when I was going through my struggles, I kept saying, I want to stop destroying my life, but I just don't know how. I want to give them hope that there's information to show them how they can do it.
Well, and the weird things, when I was going through it, I was blaming everybody else that my life, the only way to say it, sucked. And it was nobody else's fault. It was mine. So when you hand that report, don't feel bad if you get a little pushback at first. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, there's often pushback, especially with something that we have so much difficulty talking about, and especially young men. We want to hold it inside ourselves. We don't want to share that we have this weakness. We want to try and solve it ourselves rather than reach out and ask for help. So this is something that we really need to get to young men to say, don't be ashamed of it. Just ask for some help.
Shame. I heard that word. And I think that's a society response
Yes.
rather than reaching out and offering help. We make these people feel ashamed.
Not only do we make them feel ashamed, but they also take it on themselves. The reason they don't want to put that out there is because they know they will feel shame if they talk about it. But that's not what we should be feeling. We should be feeling, hey, this is a problem. I need to get some help for it.
People get in touch with you if they want some more information.
The best way is through my website. You can go to www.thelifeforge, all one word, .com. In that, you'll be able to see that free report. You'll be able to access my book if you want to get a copy of it. And there's other programs that you can see as to how I'll be able to help people through this process. It has all my contact information there too, so it's the best place to get a hold of me.
And we'll be putting a link to that in the description on YouTube and in the comments on all our other social media.
I
Do you have
appreciate that very much.
any last words for the audience?
The best thing to do is to make sure you talk to people and don't talk about just normal things from the day-to-day things. Actually talk to people to find out what's going on with them and then be willing to listen, because listening is the most important part. When people feel like they're listened to, they'll be more willing to talk. And this is stuff that we need to talk about.
So if you want to open that conversation with somebody in your life, then get Mykal's free report and start that conversation. And then go to his website and take the next steps.
Yeah,
Mykal, thank you so much for being here with us today. And we'd love for you to come back some other time and let us know how many people you have helped.
I appreciate the offer and I will definitely be back. I want to hear more about your stories too.
Maybe we should have a little counseling session or tell all the bad, tell the audience all the weird and strange things we did when we were under the powers of the influence,
Ah,
and tell them, see, this is what happens and you can survive it and you can come out on the other end.
absolutely. That
So
would be cool.
this is Francine Juhlin, the founder of Parents Talk and the Confidence Club for Kids. Until next time, bye.
Bye.